What's going on? What's going on, everybody? This is 𝐘𝐨𝐮'𝐬 coming at you. What's up? What's up? All right, all right, all right. First off, when you jump on this live, put down in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. That way I can make sure you can hear me good. All right. I'm tuning in from the Carolinas myself. So put down in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. All right. So today we're going to talk about, are you repelling or are you attracting people to your business? All right. Because a lot of you guys out there, and I used to do the same thing, right? The stuff that you're talking about, on your timeline is really, repelling the same people that you want to join you in business, the same people that you want to buy your products and services, right? So this is going to be part one of a three-part series. All right, check this out. So today I'm going to give you the first tip, right? This is part one on how you can actually attract people to your business. All right. Now, one way that you can do it is you actually tell your story, right? People, they want to do business with and buy products from people that they know, like, and trust, right? You've heard that before, the know, like, and trust factor. I know you've heard it, right? So people get to know, like, and trust you when they feel that they kind of, can connect with you, right? They can understand where you're coming from. Maybe there's something in your, in your journey that resonates with them, right? So you want to tell your story. So let me give you an example, right, of what I mean by that. All right, so I'm going to tell you my story so that you understand what I mean by tell your story. Everybody has a reason why they started their online business, right? As I tell mine, put down in the comments to let me know why you started your online business. And when I was first presented with this, as far as like, how to actually tell your story, people were like, well, okay, because I actually, got coaching for this. And they was like, okay, D, well, why do you do what you do? Like, why, I'm a network marketer, right? Why do you network market? I was like, well, the reason why I want to network market is to make money. They're like, no, you got to go deeper than that, right? So then they were like, okay, why do you help network marketers? Because that's what I do, right? I help other network marketers learn to market. I was like, oh, okay, I got it. I said, well, it's because when I first got online, I needed some help. I was struggling. The first 90 days only made $9.24. I was struggling, right? I needed some help. I needed some marketing training. I didn't know what to do, right? I was out there doing all the wrong stuff, right? So it was like, everything was like, in my mind at the time, everything was super expensive in my mind, right? Because didn't want to pay nothing, right? And I'm like, a lot of the training that I did wind up finding was incomplete. So I said, well, so the reason why I do what I do is because I know the pain of when you start a network marketing business and you don't know what you're doing, and and you buy this training, you buy that training, you try all these different ones, and all of them leave you empty, right? So I said, well, that's why I do what I do, right? And then the coach said, no, D, you got to go further than that. You were doing something before you came online in 2018. Like, what led you to this point? Why network marketing? Why network marketing and helping other network marketers? Like, so you got to get deeper. So now let me tell you my story. And this is often called, and put this down in the comments, origin story. Put this down in the comments, origin story. Type it down in the comments. This is often called your origin story. Okay. So let me tell you mine, as I had to dig deeper, and this is what you're going to have to do, dig deeper, so that people can really know where you're coming from and they can relate with you. So I remember back when I was a kid, right? Growing up, upstate New York, Rochester is where I was raised, right? I wasn't born there, but that's where I was raised. It was me, my two brothers, and my mom. And my mom was a single parent, and she only had a 7th grade education, right? And when I was about, I think I was about like maybe 5. Because I don't think I was in school yet. I didn't start school until I was 6 because my birthday was in January. When I was in school, I remember my mom went back to get her GED. So remember, she had a 7th grade education. I remember she went back to get her GED, right? So she could have, the piece of paper, right? And, so this is where we at, a single parent, we living in, regular type of neighborhood. It wasn't upscale by far, right? And she's trying to make ends meet. And so she had a job, later she got a job and she was working as a home health aide. Now that's like a CNA, right? In the health field, where basically what they do is they like lift up patients and wipe their butts and stuff like that, right? It's really backbreaking work. And she used to work like 16 hours a day, a lot of times on that job, because I mean, shit, she had me and my two brothers, to take care of. And, the background that she had as far as her family life was like terrible, terrible, right? So she wanted to make sure that our family life was much better. She wanted to make sure that we never had to go hungry, right? That we never had to, you know, deal with getting evicted and stuff like that, right? So she worked a lot of hours. And the job that she had, you know, I remember her saying, and she didn't tell me this directly, but I remember her saying it. So she must have been talking to another adult. You know, we're kids, we listen. And I remember her saying that they had told her that she couldn't get a raise, right? That the salary capped out at $7 an hour, right? That her pay capped out at $7 an hour, that she couldn't make more than $7 an hour unless she went to college to get a college degree. Now that's what they told her. Okay. Now keep in mind what we're dealing with. Okay. We're dealing with a woman who has 3 children, right? Who she wants to keep safe. And she's working with a 7th grade education and a GED. And she doesn't have the family support. You know, some people have supportive families, right? She didn't have family support, right? This is what we're dealing with. Okay. So going back to college wasn't in the cards, right? So what I saw my mom do, right? This is what I saw her do. I saw her, then she started doing more entrepreneurial things. For example, she joined a company called SMC, Specialty Merchandising Corporation. You know, I don't think they're still around there back, you know, around, you know, back then, right? I remember she joined that. It was a mail order company. So she would join these different companies trying to make ends meet, you know, trying to make some extra money. And, you know, so she'd go through different companies, like how we go through different companies. Oh, this didn't work. That didn't work. She did the tie-dye t-shirt business. You know, that didn't pan out for her. And I remember she started going to auctions. Now, I didn't know anything about, you know, auctions, and I don't think she did either. But she started going to auctions, like antique auctions. And I remember her saying that she would go even though, you know, she wasn't buying anything at that time. She said, she told me that she was going so that she could learn. Because I'm like, well, Ma, you know, you ain't buy nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you coming back and you ain't buy nothing? You know, why you even going? You know, and I remember she said, baby, I'm going because I need to learn how to do it. She said, and the people who are there, they know how to do it. She said, so the only way for me to learn it is to go there and be with the people so I can learn how to do it. I have to watch what they bid on. I have to listen. I have to be there to be in a conversation, to listen to the things that they say, right? So that I can understand how I can tell an Oriental rug fake from a real Oriental rug, right? This is what she said. You know, and of course, I didn't know anything about, you know, antiques or anything. I said, okay, right? I said, okay, I get it, you know. So she would go to these auctions to listen to what the people were talking about, right? And then eventually she started buying stuff from the auction, and she would get it and she would sell it at the at first she was selling at home, like, you know, because eventually she was able to buy a house. You know, we eventually was able to buy a house, and inside the living room, like in New York, the houses were big, right? So you didn't just have a living room, you had a living room and you had a dining room and you had an eat-in kitchen, right? So in the living room part, right, she would have all of these furniture, these antiques and different things that she had bought, you know, and she had cleaned up and everything, and she would sell them. Like people would literally come in our living room and you know, during the week to buy stuff as if it was like a store. And then, you know, it got to the point where that was going good, and she was able to go and pay for a spot at the flea market. It was an indoor flea market in New York, and you could pay for a spot on the inside. And so she took all her stuff and she went there. And she, you know, she laid everything out. She had little curio things that I'm not interested in, but this is what she was doing. And she would tell me, she would say, you know, like sometimes I would go there. I didn't go there often. She said, you see that right there? And she would point to some of the things that was on someone else's rack, right? She said, you see that statue right there? I said, yeah, I see it. I said, it looked dusty, Ma. You know, and she was like, no. She said, the reason it's not selling is because they don't know how to sell it. You see how it's all dusty? It's not going to sell that way. She said, when I was going to those auctions, I learned that you have to position things properly, right? This is what she said. She said, it's about the presentation. And I didn't know what she was talking about, but this is what she said. I said, okay, Ma. I said, that, you know, that makes sense. Yeah. So you could make it prettier. You can sell it. You sure, Ma? She said, yeah. So she would go, and she would go to, you know, the same flea market where she sold at, but she would go to other people's, you know, setup and make offers on their stuff. And you know, they would be like, oh man, you know, you sure this will sell, you know, Sandra, this will sell, you know, and she was like, yeah, I'll be okay. And she'd buy it. And then she'd bring it over to her station and she'd, you know, kind of clean it up a little bit and she'd position it, how she'd position it, and the shit it'd sell, right? And so this is what I saw her doing. I saw the fact that it wasn't just the fact that she was being an entrepreneur, because that's part of it, right? But that doesn't make you turn into who I am. That doesn't make you want to teach other people, right? Just because you're an entrepreneur. Like, there's plenty of entrepreneurs that don't give two rat's ass about teaching people, right? And that's fine, right? But I'm gonna tell you why I decided to, once I did get online with network marketing, right? Why I decided to go into the realm of teaching other network marketers what I knew, right? Because this is what I saw. I saw a woman who was able to use education. No, we're not talking about the traditional education, because remember I told you she didn't go to college. Remember I told you that she only had a 7th grade education other than the GED, right? What I saw her do was take an entrepreneurial education, meaning she learned from other entrepreneurs. I saw her take that knowledge, right, and go from us being on welfare, right, getting food stamps, and hey, if you need the help, you get the help. So there's nothing wrong with that. But she didn't want to be on it. Like, everybody doesn't want to be on the system, right? She didn't want to be on it. She needed to be on it at the time. But I saw her being able to take that entrepreneurial education that she learned from going to those auctions, listening to those other entrepreneurs and learning that and putting it into practice. I saw her being able to take that education and bring us up out of being on welfare, bring us up out of, you know, living right in the crossfire of the hood, right? I saw her take that and be able to get her a car, right? I saw her take that and be able to get us a house, right? A 5-bedroom house, right? You know, and back then, you know, at least the part of New York where I stayed in, upstate, you know, especially for African-American family, that wasn't common for people to own a house. It wasn't common, right? You know, especially people who weren't really educated by traditional standards, educated, right? So that's what I saw education could do for a person, and entrepreneurial education could do for a person. It could take a person, a single mom, right, that did not have a supportive family system, right, didn't have a mommy, a daddy, uncle, brother, whatever, that you can say, well, hey, I need $100 for rent. Nah, that ain't happening. If anything, they're asking her for money. You feel me? Right? So I saw her be able to use that and change her whole situation around so that we stayed safe, meaning the children, right? So that we were able to make sure that we had food on our table, you know, so that we had the opportunity to go to college, right? So that we had opportunity. When I got 16, my mom was able to give me a car, right? So that we had opportunity that when Christmas came around, I got presents every Christmas, you know, because we celebrated it back then. You know what I mean? This is what I saw education could do, or entrepreneur education. That's what I saw it could do. So when I got online, when I first started online, it was to make some extra money, right? And then that wasn't working because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But once I started getting into the groove of things, as far as like, look, I got to learn this stuff. And once I started learning, I said, you know what? Wait a minute. This is what my mom was doing, right? No, she wasn't online. There was no internet, right? But she was learning to be an entrepreneur. So it clicked like, yo, I see the power of what a marketing education can do, of an entrepreneur education. I saw it firsthand. Like, I was the product of it. I was able to go to basketball camp when, yo, like, for real, in my neighborhood, that didn't happen. You didn't go to basketball camp. Like, for real, your parents didn't have money to send you to basketball camp. That just didn't happen, right? You know, and a single parent at that, right? But that's what that entrepreneur education was able to afford me to be able to do, right? So whereas some people growing up in the same neighborhood, you know, their parents was doing whatever. I don't know what their parents was doing, but they wound up doing some things that, you know, didn't pan out for them, you know, standing in a corner doing things that you know, that they have to live with for the rest of their life, you know. But because my mom, you know, sought out an entrepreneurial education, because she didn't just stay stagnant at the $7 an hour job that told her that she couldn't do more there, right? She sought out entrepreneurial education, not a traditional education. Entrepreneur education is different, right? This is why I do what I do, because I know the power that once you understand how to start thinking for yourself as an entrepreneur, once you understand that your only limitations are the ones that you set on yourself, once you understand that anybody, yourself included, anybody can flourish especially in the internet, right? But as an entrepreneur, period, that anybody can if they make the decision to do so. That anybody, I know that anybody can change their situation. Because if a single parent in upstate New York, African American woman, right, with a 7th grade education can do that, ain't no way in hell nobody can tell me that somebody else can do it. And a lot of people, you know, out here, they have much more education. They surely have more than 7th grade education now, because nowadays, you know, you get in trouble if you don't go to school. Back then when my mom was growing up, hell, she dropped out of school so she could take care of all the babies my grandma was having. You know what I'm saying? So she had to drop out. It wasn't, you know, a thing where she just was being bad or something. She had to, right? But there's people now who they graduate high school, you know, they even graduate college, right? And they feel stuck, right? Because they have not been introduced to the entrepreneurial education. They haven't been introduced to higher thinking, of understanding that you literally can control your financial destination once you get educated, right? And the education is available to all of us, especially if you got internet, right? It's available to you no matter who you get it from. It's available to you. All of these resources. This is why I get up here and I do my lives. This is why I promote marketing training and I talk about, you know, entrepreneur things all the time. This is why I'm passionate about it, because literally an entrepreneur education is a vessel to take you out of whatever it is you're going through. Whatever it is, if money's your problem, get an entrepreneur education. You'll see that money is not a problem. Money's there. Money is there, especially if you're in the United States. Now, I can't really speak for other countries because I haven't been there, right? But especially if you're in the United States, money is there. If you feel that you're stuck because, you know, maybe you're in a situation where you have an abusive husband, right? And you're like, well, I can't really get away because I don't have any money. Let me tell y'all something. My mom literally left the abusive dude she was with. It wasn't my daddy, right? But she left the abusive dude she was with, left with us, said, yo, I'm out, peeled, right? Because I was born in Georgia. She straight peeled, you know, and went to New York, right? And that's when she was able to flourish. So if you are in a situation, because there's people like this, in situations like where they feel stuck, they feel like they can't move from where they at. You feeling like, well, man, I would leave this abusive relationship if you know, if I knew how to make some money. Get an entrepreneur education. Do whatever you got to do to sneak some time away to start learning, right? And then get ready to step out on faith, because I promise you, an entrepreneur education can help set you free from all this bondage that you got going on in your life. Maybe you're around people who are not very, you know, uplifting. Maybe, you know, it's like your family is just like, they just negative Nancy's all the time, you know, and you're like, well, man, where am I going to go? You know, this is where my family is, you know, where am I going to go? You got options, right? When you got an entrepreneur education, you got options, because you start seeing things differently. You start seeing possibilities instead of a whole bunch of chains and around your neck, you know, and instead of seeing a whole bunch of handcuffs around your arms, you start seeing literally possibilities of what you can do with your life, right? And possibilities of how you can make an income without having to depend on, you know, like in my mom's case, depend on an abusive husband, right? You can literally make change when you have an education. And in this case, we're talking about an entrepreneur education, because it is the most freeing thing that I've ever seen, aside from, I would say, secondary to, you know, having a relationship with your creator, right? The second is having an entrepreneur education. That is the most freeing thing, aside from having a relationship with your creator, has been having that education that you can learn as an entrepreneur. And hopefully this is resonating with somebody, because I know people are in situations, you know, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's story is different. But this is the type of story, and like I said, your story is going to be different, but you want to dig deeper into why you do what you do, right? What is it? If you're into health and wellness, right? Then dig deeper. What is it about health and wellness? What is it? Is it because maybe your little brother, like maybe he swallowed some toxic chemicals and he passed away because of that. So now you focus on non-toxic chemicals for the home because of that. Then get down into whatever it is that drives you. Because I promise you, if you only are driven just by the money, meaning, well, I just joined this thing and I promote it just because it's, just because I make money off of it. That's no passion. You're not going to relate to anybody. Nobody's going to relate to you, right? And when things get tough, you're going to drop that thing. You're going to be like, well, yeah, I ain't promoting that no more. I'm just moving on to the next. And you know how people are going to see you then? When you keep, when one day you're promoting a weight loss product. The next week you're promoting a forex trading product. The next week you're promoting a credit repair product. The next week you're promoting a real estate MLM product, right? And you're trying to do all this on your Facebook profile. You know what people are going to say? Well, man, shoot, he or she doesn't stay with anything. They don't know what they want to do, right? Because you're doing stuff and you're not looking at the deeper reason of why you're doing something. You're not looking at the passion of, why you got started in it. And when you do that, you're going to be able to tell your story. And and to some people, it's going to sound like a broken record, but you're going to tell your story over and over. I can tell that story like clockwork because it's the truth. I can tell that story like clockwork because it has fueled my passion, right, for what I do, right? So there are going to be people that watch this, whether live or watch it on a replay, that are going to resonate with that. But like, you know what, Dean? I totally feel that, having an entrepreneurial education, learning how to actually create an income online is freeing, D. I feel that, D. I want to be connected to you, D. Like, show me, how do you do what you do, D? Like, that's literally the effect that you want to have on people, and you will when you start telling your story, once you get down to understanding it and making sure that you are in line, right? Making sure you are in line with whatever you're trying to put out there into the universe, whatever you're trying to, tell people that they need to jump on board with, or whatever, right? Don't just do it just for the money. Yeah, we want to make money, and that's what that is, right? But don't just do it just for the money, because people are not going to feel that connection with you, and it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder for you to get, going, right? No, we don't talk about people who already have a following of like 10,000 people, right? We're not talking to them. Like, for real, like, those people are like, they're not even in my audience, like, seriously, right? I'm talking about the people who were just like me, right? Who were just like me 2 years ago, or maybe you're like that now, but 2 years ago you getting started and you trying to figure things out, right? You need to make a change, but you don't know exactly how to make that change, right? But you know that you do have a passion to help people, right? I'm talking to those people. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So if that's you, put down in the comments and let me know. Say value bomb. Put down in the comments and let me know value bomb. It's absolutely powerful to educate yourself, man. I promise you, man, when you have an entrepreneurial education and you start really committing to learning something, and you're passionate about it, and you want to share, with the world, what you're learning. You want to share it with people who are aligning with you, what you learn. I mean, it's the best thing on earth, guys. Now, look. Now, like I said, this is just one tip of what you can do to attract people to you. It's telling your story. I'm going to give you another tip. Each time I'm going to give you another tip of how you can attract people to you. Now, if you want to go further in depth and seeing really how I attract people to me all the way through from start to finish, right, on Facebook, right, just using your Facebook profile for your business, right, whatever it is that you're promoting as a network marketer. If you want to see how I do this, start to finish, the categories that I focus on, right? And how you can be a part of my circle, right? What I'll do is I'll put down below an actual video that I did laying out the subject lines, the subject matter, and also letting you know how you can be a part of my circle so that you can get this same clarity and you can start doing the same things as far as getting the results that you want in your business. All right. Sound fair? Sound fair? All right. Don't forget, put down below, say value bomb, baby. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Alexis. All right, so don't forget the very first link in the description. You can go ahead and rock out with that and check out how I laid out, pretty much everything from start to finish if you really want to dive deeper into this. And if you have found this valuable, this attraction marketing tip today, making sure you're not, repelling your market, definitely give me that thumbs up. subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you already know, baby, crush that bell so you can be alerted next time I come up with some content. And definitely stay tuned this week for part 2, and then following up with part 3 of these attraction marketing tips. All right, other than that, y'all already know what we gonna do, baby. Let's take this red